Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Ugram Viram Mahavishnum Shvalantam Savato Mukham Nishingam Dishanam Badram Mritum Namamyaham Shri Nishingo Jai Nishingo Jai Nishingo Haladesha Jaya Padma Mukh Padma Bringa Vagisha Yasya Vadane Lakshmi Yasya Chavakshasi Yasyaste Hridaya Samvit Tam Nishingam Maham Bhaje Ugropyanugra Evayam Svabhaktanam Rikeshari Keshari Vasvaputanam Anyesham Ugra Vikramaha. So the first verse we hear a lot in Mayapur. If you have been there, they always sing it in front of Lord Nrsingadev. Actually, this mantra was given by Lord Nrsingadev to Lord Brahma. Not this Brahma, the previous creation, actually. Just like Lord Brahma received the Gopal mantra, in the same way, he received from Lord Nrsingadev this mantra, Ugram Viram Mahavishnu, after he performed this tapasya, you know. So this is in Nishingatapani Upanishad. Then basically what it means, Ugram Viram Mahavishnu, Ugram is terrible, very heroic, Viram. Mahavishnu, Svalanta means effulgent. Savato Mukham, he's got Mukham everywhere, faces. Nishingam Bishanam, Badram, so half man, half lion. Bishanam means astounding, terrible. Badram, auspicious. Mrityum, Namamyaham. Namamyaham, I offer my respectful obeisances, is death to death itself. So this is Lord Nrsingadev. Shinishingo, Jai Nishingo. So all the race to Nishingadev, who is the Lord of Prahlad, Maharaj. And like the honeybee, is always engaged in beholding the lotus-like face of the goddess of fortune. Then the next verse is Sridhar Maharaj speaking on Bhagavatam 1087.1, Vagisha Yasya Vadane. It says there that Lord Nrsingadev is always assisted by Sarasvati, the goddess of learning. And he's always embracing to his chest the goddess of fortune. So he's always complete in knowledge within himself. So let's offer obeisances unto him. And then this one is beautiful also. I just sang it as well. It's from Madhya Lila chapter 8. Actually, of course, it's quoted in CC, but it comes from Sridhar Swami on his tika on 791 Srimad Bhagavatam. He's saying, although very ferocious, the lioness is very kind to her cubs. Similarly, although very ferocious to non-devotees like Hiranyakashipu, Lord Nrsingadev is very, very soft and kind to devotees like Prahlad Maharaj. Hare Krishna. Okay, so jumping to the guitar now. So we're going to do tentatively the Catur sloki today, Lord Krishna willing. So I guess you covered the first section of the 10th chapter, Vibhuti Yoga. And do you want to share anything on this, the first few verses?
Like last time we discussed about first around 7 verses. So basically, Krishna was talking about his supremacy, how one who understands factually the supremacy of Krishna can fully render service, and engage in devotional service. And then Krishna was explaining about how everything that comes, like intelligence, knowledge, are ultimately created by him alone. So then explains the supremacy of how 7 great sages and everyone has been produced from him. So what he basically talks about Aishwarya Gyan. So one is factually convinced of that opulence, such a person can engage in devotional service to him.
Exactly. Yeah, I remember Burijan Prabhu used to always repeat to us, Aishwarya Gyan breeds Dasya Bhakti. More we are aware, especially at a neophyte level, more you are aware of the divinity, the power, the Aishwarya Gyan, the features of his absoluteness, more is going to strengthen your faith and your commitment. So Aishwarya Gyan definitely breeds Dasya Bhakti. Anything else, Goloka, you want to add up? Anything? Basically, with this, of course, you didn't discuss with me, but doesn't matter with him, with Chandra Prabhu.
You are muted.
Sorry?
Goloka Mataji is muted.
Okay.
Okay. I just want to, you want to add up anything?
Yeah, we just covered last week. Also, we covered the Catur sloki, but Prabhu, what Chandra said that he wants you to do it again because you will discuss it in detail, in more depth.
Yeah, he told me that.
In more depth,
I just wanted to recap on what you covered last time. So, did you notice, before the Chatur Shloki, it's mentioned there, I think it's 10.2. Yes, neither the host of demigods nor the great sages know me, my origin, or opulences. For in every respect, I'm the source of all the demigods and sages. So no one can, just like 725, I reserve myself the right to remain covered. That is his prerogative. No one can gate crash into the world of Krishna. They couldn't. Everyone knows me. Sorry, I know everyone, but no one knows me. So basically, all the rishis, just like in the Srimad Bhagavatam 1.3.27, all the rishis, the Manus, the demigods, the descendants of Manu, you name them, they're especially powerful, no doubt. But whether they be plenary portions or kala means portions of portions, they are like Prajapatis. Prajapatis basically means vibhuti. Jiva Goswami explained that on this verse 1.3.27, that the Manus, there's 14 Manus in the Kalpa, the Saptarishis, the demigods, like presiding deities, Indradev, the Prajapatis, they are Kala, basically. He called them Kala. So Kala refers, Jiva Goswami explained, to vibhutis, not to incarnations. So when less potency is manifested, it is called vibhuti. And when there is more potency, it's called avesh. So, of course, to link up with Lord Nrsingadev today, where does he fit in terms of avatar? What kind of avatar is he, by the way, Lord Nrsingadev?
That's avatar? 10.
Yeah, but be a little more specific. What is his category?
Lila avatar? No.
Yeah, that's a very good start.
Yeah.
Very, very good start. So again, let's start from the bottom. Vibhuti, okay? Can you see me? Vibhuti. That's the name of this chapter, by the way, Vibhuti Yoga. Then beyond Vibhuti, what do you find? Vibhuti basically, kala. Kala refers to vibhuti, not incarnations. So when there's less potency, it's called vibhuti. When there's more potency, it's called avesh, shakti-avesh. Shakti-avesh can be direct or indirect. So you find vibhutis, then shakti-avesh, direct, indirect. For instance, Lord Buddha. Lord Buddha, the second one, there's two Buddha in Kali Yuga. The second one, good, you know him, Siddhartha Gautama, is a jiv, is direct incarnation, avesh. So you find avesh, then you find prabhav, then you find vibhav, then you find paravastita, or Prabhupada calls them Shat Eshvarya Purna avatar. In that category, you don't find many. Ramadi Murtishu Kalaniyam in Atishtani. Krishna is Swayamrup. Right under Krishna, Ramadi Murtishu, you find Lord Ram, Lord Nrsimhadev. So Lord Nrsimhadev is totally way beyond Avesh, way beyond, Prabhav. Vibhav is Shad Eshvarya Purna avatar. So after Lord Krishna, Ram and Lord Nrsimhadev are the most powerful. That is why it's, according to Hari Bhakti Vilas, this is the most important day of the year after Janmashtami. After Janmashtami. It's a very important day. Okay, back to the Gita. So let's, like Vignesh mentioned, it's a precursor. This section, the first section of the 10th chapter, is a precursor for the matter of engrossing yourself, indulging yourself in bhakti. 7, one who's factually convinced of this opulence and mystic power of mind engages in unalloyed devotional service. Of this, there is no doubt. Okay, let's get into the first one, Chatur Sloki. Go ahead. What I propose actually, because they are quite interconnected, let's do the 4 in one go. Then we will discuss back and forth. Okay, you can read out.
I am the source of all spiritual material world. Everything emanates from me. The wise who knows the wise who knows it is perfectly engaged in my devotional service and worship me with all their hearts.
9.
Okay. The thoughts of my pure devotees dwell in me. Their lives are fully devoted to my service, and they derive great satisfaction and bliss from always enlightening one another and conversing about me.
Okay, 10.
To those who are constantly devoted and worship me with love, I give them understanding by which they can come to me.
To show them special mercy, I, dwelling in their hearts, destroy with the shining lamp of knowledge darkness born of ignorance.
Okay, good. So my first question was, what is the intent here of Lord Krishna in putting in those Chatur Shloki? What is he trying to accomplish? Basically. Why do they appear here out of the blue, all of a sudden like that?
Like previously, Krishna has already talked about various paths like Jnana, Karma, Yoga. Now, since the focus of the middle 6 chapters are like Bhakti Yoga, so currently now Krishna is focusing on Bhakti aspect. Now, how like till now, whenever Krishna has talked about Karma and Jnana, he's talked like a particular path, like a particular path. But now Krishna is actually telling how we can actually reciprocate with the devotees. It tells how we can reciprocate with the devotees if they engage in devotional service. So that reciprocation that comes is only for the bhakti, as a part of bhakti yoga that Krishna is trying to emphasize.
Definitely, yeah. Like just what you wrote in your homework. Definitely, you're right. It's well written. You want to add up anything, Goloka?
Okay, okay. So I think Krishna is trying to establish, his supremacy by, and how one can attain him only through bhakti yoga,
Yeah,
through by love and devotion.
definitely.
So,
Yeah.
so the Krishna is trying to establish that, all the other processes, they're inferior to bhakti yoga. So he can be achieved only by, by devotion.
Hmm. So
And also he is intelligent, you know, to those devotees who are really devoted to him.
yeah, Buddha Yoga, we're going to discuss very important verse 10:10. So those Chatushloki definitely represent the essence of the Gita. And thus Chatushloki, yeah, they remove the distress of all the jivas actually, and bring about all auspiciousness. This Chatushloki extremely powerful. Uh, they summarize, it's a sum up of the Gita basically. So 10:8 obviously is Bhav Bhakti, by the way. Bhajante mam iti madhva bhajante mam. This is Bhav Bhakti. So Krishna here, he sums up his opulence, aham savasya prabhavo. And he explains the results of truly knowing those opulences. Just like he said in 7 previously, you have to be convinced. But what's the result? What is the shrutifal of being convinced and to act upon it? This is 10:8. Basically, you become a pure devotee. And like you said in 9, it describes it's Abhideya Tattva, basically, 10:9. How to worship, what to do. What do you do as a pure devotee? What is your daily activities? Machitan Magata Prana. And then 10:11, like Vignesh said, this is how the Lord reciprocates with their loving worship. Sadhunam Hridayam Mayam, what is it? Sadavo Hridayam Mayam Sadhunam Hridayam Twaham. In their hearts, there's only me. In my heart, there's only them. So basically, this verse 10:8, Buddha Bhava Samangita, it explains about a Vedantist. Vedantist is someone who has finished his study of Vedic knowledge. So this is a big clue for him that he should go beyond intellectual pursuit, even Vedic intellectual pursuit, and comes to Vigyan, practical realization of the absolute truth. So it's a nice progression. You will see in the 15th chapter, we will discuss the Trishloki Shastra. In the Gita, you will find clusters of verses like this. Not only the Chatushloki tend to sum up, also at the end of the 15th chapter, the Trishloki Shastra, they're also there. They sum up also. So again, this is an intent for us to go beyond Gyan. We have to come to Vigyan. And for that matter, what is the only state of affair to increase our bhakti, to turn the fire on the burner of our bhakti? Because we know it very well, Nayamatma Pravachanina, Labyo, we cannot, out of our own accord, access to Krishna. Knowledge is not sufficient. On the contrary, knowledge is a byproduct. Vasudeva Bhakti Yoga Prayojitaha. To come. So it's byproduct. So all these gyanis and in their pursuits, Vedantis, they're searching for Krishna actually. So he is coming. Aram Savasya Prabhu is declaring loud, very loud. But again, it's twice, Bhajante, Bhava. So we have to worship him. There's no way around. Let's see the purport. So here, Srila Prabhupada, what does he do? What do you think is quoting left, right, and corner from Shruti mostly? What is he trying to accomplish here, Prabhupada?
I think Srila Prabhupada in the purport, he want to substantiate, this verse by quoting from so many other Vedic literatures, about.
Yeah, because obviously not only devotees are going to read this Gita. A lot of laymen are going to read it, or they could be Indologists, you name it. They could be whoever. So just like Rupa Goswami in his Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, is going to bring in lots of Shruti to edify the readers, to establish, to ascertain the supremacy of Bhakti, Krishna Bhakti. In the same way here, Krishna wants to, Lord Prabhupada, wants to ascertain how Krishna Bhakti is very lofty on the basis of scriptures. He wants to, that's why he's quoting big time here. Okay, so feel free to intervene if you want to say anything, because so here I've got a quote. This stage of transition from Gyan to Bhakti takes place in the Shantaras. Up to Shantaras, you are in Gyan, basically. Of course, that is why some acharyas, they don't even accept Shantaras. They say Bhakti starts from Dasyaras. So the transition takes place in Shantaras. Why? Because just like 10.7, there's appreciation of his Aishvarya, his greatness. And gradually, in the Shantaras level, the personality, the personal conception of God sneaks in the mind, in the consciousness of the practitioner. Yeah. Up to Shantaras, people are not necessarily into a personalistic approach to God. So there is a bhav, it's mentioned in 8 bhav twice, bhajante, bhava, samanditaha. So it's a bhav of respect, basically. Prior to that, it's a bhav of respect, Aishvarya bhav, basically. But here, it's very clear. Starting from 8, it's no more Shantaras. On the contrary, it's much more, it's bhav bhakti. So once you understand God is, Krishna is God, then what else you have to do? Just like we discussed way back, 5.4, 5.5, one who sees there's a difference between Sankhya Yoga and Bhakti Yoga. Remember those 2 verses back to back? Is a fool if he sees that the end result of Sankhya Yoga is different from the end result of Bhakti Yoga. Is a fool. Prabhupada says, when you have found the root of the universe, Vishnu, you worship. You pour water on the roots. So this is exactly what's happening. So it's Bhav Bhakti here. It's very high. Buddha Bhava Samanditaha, feelings of love. That is why up to, you get, basically 10.8 is the demarcation line. Below 10.8, you will find everyone else, the scholars, the empiricists, the intellectuals, the philosophers, the tapasvi, you name it. But as soon as you enter 10.8, no, it's only for bhaktas. It's only for bhaktas now. All the others, they remain at the door. They don't enter 10.8. This is a state of affair. Do you want to add up anything on 10.8? Is it clear? Let's see if I had other questions here. You mentioned the Catur sloki, okay. Yeah. Why is Srila Prabhupada writing in comparison to him? All others who don't know Krishna are fools, but are nothing but fools. Is it politically correct? Srila Prabhupada is very daring. You notice that already. Yeah? So I noticed in your respective answers, Goloka is saying politically incorrect, and Vignesh is saying politically correct. So you guys differ. So you have to substantiate your claim, each one of you. You have to convince each other.
Yeah. Usually we don't call people fools, you know. It doesn't sound like polite or something. With Prabhupada, he, like you say, very daring. And he is not telling that. Even Krishna said, he's just repeating what Krishna said in Bhagavad-gita.
Yeah. So I would, okay, let's hear Vignesh. We have to, in a court of law, we have to hear both parties. So let's hear Vignesh now.
Yeah, Prabhu, my point was politically correct or incorrect. Normally we call, suppose in terms of politicians, normally say that if they're speaking as per the constitution of the particular country, then they're politically correct. Otherwise, they're incorrect. Now, from the perspective or from the reference of Bhagavad-gita, Prabhupada is correct, because Krishna has already mentioned in 9.11 that Aujananti mam mudaha panushantani ashritam. Those who consider me as human being, ordinary human being, they're actually muda, they are fools. So in that sense, Krishna himself says that they're fools. So Prabhupada is actually just repeating what Krishna already has spoken already. So if anyone counters the argument of Prabhupada, Prabhupada can always refer, this is what Krishna says. So I'm not quoting out of my own whim. So in that sense, I was referring that he's politically correct. At the same time, one can be considerate while preaching, maybe depending on time, place, and circumstance. It's not like you'll be just bashing every time, oh, your fools like that. So we have to be considerate as well.
We cannot imitate Srila Prabhupada. No? Srila Prabhupada used to say, I can't do it because I'm an old man. He used to say that. You cannot, we're not so old. I mean, even me, I'm a little old. But
so many times use the word rascal. We don't use this, you rascal, but the word is still used, sometimes.
I even Govind Maharaj, I don't know if you remember, he left in 96. It was heavy. Heavy. But Bodhijan Prabhu used to repeat to us, is politically incorrect, because he's not going to, caress the cat according to one's grain. When you caress a cat, you have to go that side, not against the grain. Did you notice if you caress a cat against the grain, the cats immediately will become hitchy. So in the same way, a politician is very expert not to alert, not to disturb the populaces, the masses, because he wants to get the votes. Prabhupada doesn't give a damn. In that sense, it's politically incorrect. Yeah. Of course, what you say, Vignesh, is correct also. I understand where you're coming from. But he is not here to rally the votes of outsiders. That's not his cup of tea. He's establishing boldly and firmly the absolute truth. This is his prerogative. Okay. Since we are here, Shiv Bhakti, is that a bona fide idiom, a bona fide phrase? I think you guys answered properly. Yeah? I really liked the extensive answer of Vignesh, as usual. Grammatically, it's not correct. You really hit the nail properly. It's not correct. Just like you cannot say, my Guru Maharaj used to give a class long back on this, calling Mataji's Prabhu is grammatically incorrect. I don't want to mention names. I know it's done in ISKCON even by big gurus, but grammatically it's incorrect. Is that correct, Vignesh?
Yes, true.
It's not the gender. Just like, of course, in English you don't have gender. In French we have gender. You don't say voiture. You don't say le voiture. Voiture means car. You don't say le voiture. You say la voiture. The article is feminine gender. Why? Because the noun is feminine gender. So you don't say Prabhu to Mataji. And my Guru Maharaj added on that the term Mataji is even more lofty, more praiseworthy than the term Prabhu. I remember in that class. So in the same way, you cannot say Shiv Bhakti. It doesn't make any sense. Krishna Bhakti. I think you got the point. So let's see what else is there. There's one question, one of you, I think it's Goloka, you kind of skipped. Anyway, I think we finished 8, unless you want to add up anything. Vignesh is quoting here, is paraphrasing 11.5.3 in your answer to Shiv Bhakti. We cannot avoid serving the Supreme without being thoroughly condemned. It's a very good point. And there's a verse, it's spoken by one of the Navayogendra. It's 11.5.3. How does it go? Sri Chamash Muni. They're speaking to King Nimi. Exactly when I read your copy, immediately it rang a bell. You are paraphrasing verses, it's very good. Prabhupada does that a lot. It's Yaisham Purusham Sakshat, that's it. Yaisham Purusham Sakshat Atma Prabhavam Ishvaram. Atma Prabhavam Ishvaram. Then it says in that verse, if someone inadvertently refuses to obediently worship Krishna, he goes to hell. It's a very heavy verse, very heavy verse. Stanat brashta. Brashta means falls down. Patanchadaha. Heavy verse. Heavy verse. Stanat means they fall down from their position. Well, it's not my religion, but it's nothing to do with me. No, it doesn't work like that. It's Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead. Wherever you fit in the Varnashram, Krishna is the source, Aham Sarvasya Prabhavo. So if you, for some reason or the other, intentionally refuse to worship him, you're going to go down. Patanchadaha. People don't realize. This is the problem. You want to add anything on this one?
I just have one question.
Yeah.
We know that there is a Shiva Lok, right? Which is also eternal beyond the material world. So there, the devotees who are situated in that particular lok, how they see Lord Vishnu or Lord Krishna? Like, are they pure Vaishnavas? If then why not in Vaikuntha? Do they consider that Shiva and Vishnu are non-different from each other, or do they consider Shiva as supreme? Like, what is their conception? Because I know that in Shiva Lok, Lord Shiva also worships Lord Krishna. Then what is the mood of the devotees who are situated there?
Well, again, if they follow the Ishtadev and they consider Vaishnavanamyata Shambhu, that my Ishtadev is he himself a worshipper of Lord Vishnu, Lord Narayan, Lord Krishna, then they are properly situated. This reminded me of the story that Buddhajan Prabhu told us. I told you the story, I forgot. Okay, he's organizing a pandal for Srila Prabhupada in a Shivala. I told you the story. I forgot which group I. So, you know, it must be in Manila. Buddhism was very instrumental in opening Far East temples. So, yes, Prabhupada, we have organized a pandal for you in a Shivala. Okay? Okay, great. Last minute, they cancel. So, Buddhism is taken aback and he reports to Srila Prabhupada. Immediately, Srila Prabhupada flares up. He tell him, did you tell him? Did you disrespect Lord Shiva? No, Srila Prabhupada. No, but they want us to come, but they are saying that Lord Shiva is God. Then Prabhupada, then we won't go. So, clean cut. So clean cut. And so, Buddha told us the story. So, you know, of course, you're right, Vignesh. What is Advaitacharya in Panchatattva? It's a combination of whom? Of two persons?
Sadasiva.
And Mahavishnu. It's mentioned even that I was reading that there's a book there. It's called Advaita Prakash, I think. But that book is not fully accepted by Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. It's even available in ISKCON. But Madhavanand Prabhu, you may know him from Puri's great Pandit. He told me that one time. This book is controversial. It's not fully accepted by Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. And it's mentioned there that Lord Shiva wanted to have darshan of Mahavishnu. He meditated on Mahavishnu for 7 centuries. You understand? 7 centuries. And finally he had darshan. And Mahavishnu told him, but what's the use, my dear brother? We are none different. And then they embraced so tight, they became one. And that person is Advaitacharya. So again, you're right. I mean, the Brahma Samhita explained it's like dahi and milk and dut. Dahi is a transformation of dut, but you cannot go back from dahi, you cannot go back to dut. So they're not different because Shiva obviously is within, but at the same time, it's Sachincha Bedabed, it's one and different. And Lord Shiva is shifted. So again, it all depends on how they worship. If the worshippers, they are somewhat in the mode of ignorance, they will consider Shiva as the supreme. But if they are properly situated in terms of tattva, tatvataha, then they will understand he himself is a worshipper of Lord Krishna. Just like you mentioned, Goloka, Gopishva Mahadev. On my altar, I've got a picture of Gopishva Mahadev. He's guarding the dam. So in the same way, Lord Shiva is guarding Haridam, because you know Kailash is between Devidam and Haridam. So he's guarding. He's got the Trishul and he's testing whether that Jiva is ready to get in. So this is the state of affair. Anything else on 8? Does it answer, Vignesh?
Yes, Prabhu.
Okay, 9. So 9 is very interesting also. Machita Madgata Prana. Buddhayanta Parasparam. Together, one another with Parasparam. We have to, that's what we're doing, by the way. Katayanta Shamam Nicham, Tuchanticha, Ramanticha. We derive a great bliss. Because we are dealing with the inner core of the heart, inner core of the soul. We are feeding the soul. We are not feeding the body here. We are feeding the soul. We are reviving the dormant soul. That is us. So definitely, and this is definitely the state of affair. 9. So Baladev on this one, Baladev Vidyabhushan, 18th century, is saying Madgata Pran means is the life and soul of the devotees. Just like Bhav Bhakti was already in 8, What to speak of 9? It's even Bhav minimum, Bhav Bhakti minimum. They cannot live without him. Just like a fish, as mentioned in the purport, you must have seen in 9. Just like a fish. Krishna Katha, Krishna Katha, Krishna himself, Krishna Tattva. This is their nourishment. Pushti. There's a line, Pushti Mag, Ballabhacharya. And that is the verse, that is the first verse that Mahaprabhu accepted from Ramananda Roy. What is that verse? The first yes. Up to that verse, he rejected the proposals of Ramananda Roy. What is that verse? The first yes. Then he goes, okay, tell me further, but he accepted that verse. Jana prayasam udapasya namon taiva jandikamutan savariya martam stanestitam shrutigatam tanuvan manobi ye prayasojita jito pyasites trilokyam. This is the verse. Spoken by Brahma, 10:14:1, I believe, or 10:14:3 perhaps. So yes, you have to reject Gyan. I told you, all the Gyanis cannot go further than 10:7. They stay at the door. Jnana prayasam udapasya namantaiva. Jivanti samukha mitam. We have to hear from the mouth, the mukh of the pure devotees, or Krishna himself, just like Gita. Stanestitam shutikatam. We don't have to change our position. Then we can conquer Ajit. Is Ajit is unconquerable. We can conquer. This is 9. Together. That is why all these courses we are doing together, they are meant to take us to Vaishnavanam Priyam Puranam Amalam Srimad Bhagavatam. Gurujan Prabhu used to tell us, all these books are paving the way towards Srimad Bhagavatam. Because Bhagavatam is beyond Purusharth, it's Pancham Purusharth, beyond Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. So, definitely, and this is a beautiful section of the Gita. So my question here in the homework was taken from 9. In the preliminary stage of devotional service, they relish the transcendental pleasure from the service itself, and in the mature stage, they're actually situated in the love of God. So explain that. You did, I know, but you can report your research to the group. Goloka, you want to say something on this one? It's a sentence in 9. Second paragraph. Do you see? In the preliminary stage of devotional service, in the beginning, we relish service itself. But at a higher stage, we are actually in love of God. It's very high level, by the way. Anyone wants to say anything before we share further? So first of all, yes, Vignesh, go ahead.
Yeah, so I was just mentioning that stage of sadhana, like when we are just doing preliminary stage could be our stage of sadhana, when a devotee is basically engaged in various activities. It could be hearing the holy names, like hearing the lectures, like we are doing, Shravanam, Kirtanam, and even engaging in various outreach activities to spread Krishna consciousness. Yeah. So that's a kind of activities that it's a service that we do, and that's how we feel satisfied that by we are doing something as service to Krishna. So that is a preliminary stage, I would say. And then finally, when actually a devotee is situated in the bhav or Krishna prem, then he's actually able to engage in direct devotional service. That means it could be the stage of after liberation. One is attained sadhya. He's no more a sadhaka. He's like and a siddha. In that stage, I can directly enjoy or be a participant with the pastimes of the Krishna in Vrindavan. So
Very good.
direct the participation with Krishna.
Excellent. That sentence is very particular. It says here in 9, did you notice? In the preliminary stage of devotional service, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur explained this is ruchi already. When we're talking about preliminary stage, this is already ruchi. So already there, it's already a high level of sadhana bhakti. And what do they derive? What kind of bliss they get? Tuchanticha Ramanticha. From the service, from the Krishna Katha itself. So, but further up in the mature stage, they understand that the bliss that they are experiencing is actually the bliss of being with Krishna. It's no more the service, it's Krishna. You follow the distinction? Because Abhinadvam Namanaminoho, we say always in verse, Abhinadvam Namanaminoho, Abhinadvam Namanaminoho. Holy name is not different from God is not different from his names. God is not different. But have we realized that? So on the mature stage, beyond Ruchi, at Ruchi, we may feel bliss in chanting. This is great. Ruchi is very high in taste, Ruchi, right? But we may not experience as yet that Abhinadvam Namanaminoho. But once you become a mature stage, you realize. So let me read out to you from Madhurya Kadambini, what is it like to be just on the level of Ruchi? Vishwanath describes the state of consciousness of someone who is on Ruchi level. I would strongly advise you to read that book, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, Madhurya Kadambini. It's a beautiful book. It's very small. It's a sequel to Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Once, even parallel to one another, you can read them, or even after. It's beautiful. Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. My Guru Maharaj used to explain, we know Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, the ocean of sweet rasas, Rasamrit. So the nectarine rasas of the ocean of Bhakti. Then Madhurya Kadambini. He used to tell us, just like the clouds are the sun is going to evaporate the water, Madhurya Kadambini, in the form of cloud. And then those clouds will sprinkle on us the Bhakti. This is this book by Madhurya Kadambini. It's a beautiful book. Listen to Vishwanath on this one. Let me find it for you. Yeah. So this is Ruchi as defined per the Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. When the golden coin of Bhakti, devotion, shining effulgently by the fire of steady practice and propelled by its own energy, becomes fixed in the devotee's heart, Ruchi or taste for devotional activities appears. When a person develops a taste for the activities of bhakti, such as hearing and chanting, which is vastly greater than attraction to anything else, that's called ruchi. Unlike the previous stages, at the stage of ruchi, constant performance of hearing and chanting does not result in even the least fatigue. As soon as you have fatigue, like today I'm fatigued because I'm doing Nirjala Ekadashi, there is no fatigue in ruchi. So you can conclude when there's one devotee here, Nitasha Sutta, I mean, he can chant for 5 hours non-stop, not fatigue. I'm playing Ridong with him. After 1 hour, I'm finished. So it's a very clear-cut indication. He has no fatigue. So he's close to Ruchi. Perhaps he's in Ruchi. See? If you have fatigue, means you're not in Ruchi. Ruchi quickly produces a great attachment to the activities of bhakti. Then Vishwanath gives a beautiful simile. This is similar to a Brahmin boy who, after diligently studying the scriptures daily and in time grasping the meaning, finds no difficulty at all in applying himself to study. And moreover, he develops a pleasure in the task. He is into the groove of it. He likes to study. No one has to tell him, please study your books. On his own. This is Ruchi. So it's beautiful. Then he goes further. Practice makes perfect. This is no more Vishwanath. This is, I guess, Suhotra Prabhu. Did you know Suhotra Prabhu? He was a sannyasi. He left the world long back. He was quite steeped in, I would say, transcendental bhakti gyan. Did you know him, Goloka?
Yeah.
Suhotra Prabhu. He was an American. He left the world in Mayapur. He had a heart attack, and they found him in Padmasan with the hand in his bit bag. So you can well imagine in Mayapur. I remember I attended his class. Must have been a Monday, and Friday, Wednesday was gone. I was there at the last class, and I remember it's quite prophetic because he said, "Well, it may be my last class." So when he said that, we figured, well, it means the last class of the cycle because we were pretty much at the end of the cycle. So we figured, well, okay, end of the cycle. And 2 days after he's gone. So it was quite prophetic. So this is what he says here. When there are anarthas in the heart, one may feel sometimes fatigue in the practice of devotional service. Anarthas means sinful desires in the heart that hamper our spiritual taste. By steady practice, these anarthas are washed away, and then one comes to the platform of ruchi. Here, devotional service is unhampered. See? It is propelled by its own energy. Nothing more is holding it back. There is no reason for chanting anything else but your taste to chant. There's no fear of Guru, fear of Krishna. All these things are gone. It's propelled by its own energy. So this is definitely the state of affair here in 9. Let's see if we have more homework on this one. No, this is coming after. Anything else you want to add up on 9?
So we can see, like, even in our present life, so many devotees has ruchi, the taste for hearing and chanting, and
Well, it's hard to say, if it is steady ruchi or flickering ruchi. Like, for instance, you may have a taste one day, but if next day, because you push yourself so much that day, let's say today is Nishinga Day, you just chant and dance, and next day you're gone and you don't even practice nothing. That's not ruchi.
Yeah, that's true. Flickering.
It's somewhat some glimpses of ruchi, definitely, but that's not steady ruchi. Each and every category on this yoga ladder leading to prem is vast. Like nishtha, on the upper layer of nishtha, you are very close to, very, very close to bhav practically. Yeah? Once you are steady, then you're going, basically, that's it. You have reached the pinnacle because you don't have to struggle anymore. Anarthas are gone. Not entirely, okay. Then ruchi, ashakti, bhav. These are precursor towards love of Godhead now. These are just steps towards love of Godhead. The main goal for us is Nishtha. Unless and until we are Nishtha, there's no question of the subsequent steps. And then Ruchi, Ashakti, Bhav, these are ongoing steps towards Prem.
So my question is that, how do you become to Nista, become fixed? Because this flickering thing constantly appeared in most.
Yes, that's why you have to read this Madhurya Kadambini Goloka.
Yeah, and
I
but
think
there's so many things in life that prevent you to become Nista. You have to struggle with so many other things around you.
Anarthas, Anartha Nivriti, we are traversing the desert of Anartha Nivriti. You wanted to say something, Vignesh?
I was saying the same thing. Like when you're Anartha Nivritti, normally there is like we are referring to Madhura Kadambini, so it is mentioned there as Ghana Tarala. Like we are going through the process of thick and thin.
Yeah.
Sometimes we are steady, sometimes we're unsteady. So we are not fixed. So I think that is Anartha is, I think, slowly getting out. So once that happens, then we will be fixed on that.
Yeah, because the 6 symptoms of Anishtita Bhakti in Madhurya Kadambini, they are incremental. They are right here on the wall, actually. Utsahamayi, Ganatarala, Vyudavikalpa, Vishaya Sangara, Niyamakshama, Tarangarangini. So one leads to the other. So you can, when you read those symptoms, Goloka, of unsteadiness, you can see yourself, oh yes, I'm here. So then the next step is to move on to the next one. And once you've gone over the 6, then basically you are stepping into the world of Nishtha Bhakti. Nishtha is very vast, very vast. But the main thing is Nishtha, because as long as, unless and until you're not fixed up, you are just apprentice, you're like struggling, it's tough. It's an alternativity, basically. It's a struggle. It's kashati. So one thing I forgot in 9 is we discussed about, I think it's in 9, yeah. The Bhakti Lata Bij, there was a question on this. So please explain this thing. It appears in 9. Srila Prabhupada is going to quote CC here of Mahaprabhu, and he's going to tell us the stage, the seed, the analogy of the seed. So you can perhaps explain one. I mean, you can do it together even.
Yeah, the seed, I say, when the seed of bhakti is planted into the heart, it grows. It grows by hearing and chanting. By hearing and chanting. Then from hearing and chanting, and the seed keep on growing and fructify, and the fruits, we get the fruits, and the fruits, then we can enjoy bliss, like similarly, like he said that is traverse through all the universe to Brahma Jyotis and go to the lotus feet of Krishna.
It's a kripa.
Yeah, the kripa,
The kripa, yeah.
The flower grows and grows and never stop.
Yeah, true.
Once you reach the lotus feet of Krishna.
Okay, good. So anything you want to add up, Vignesh?
Yeah, like only one point, like it is said it is creeper. So creepers are generally very weak in nature. They are not like a proper tree. So generally we need to guard the creeper in a much better way than the tree. So like Chaitanya Charitamrita mentions that it's a very creeper, so we should carefully guard it so that it doesn't get mixed with some other kind of weeds or something like that.
Upasakagan, it's called Upasakagan. We have to uproot the weeds. Upasakagan is called in Sanskrit. Yeah. All the anarthas. Yeah. Sorry, I interrupted you.
The same point, like so we need to carefully guard it so that it doesn't get weeds of anarthas and some kind of offenses doesn't come in, so that because it can damage our bhakti. So we need to be careful on that part. Only then, otherwise watering, like it mentions, otherwise we water that creeper, other weeds may also get nourished. That is something we don't want.
Exactly. So everything has its original cause. Everything has a seed. Brahmanda Brahmite Kono Bhagavan Jiva. Guru Krishna Prashadipoi Bhaktilata Beej. So any idea, any program, any plan, any device, of course, you must have contemplated first the plan in your mind. You want to build, you are a wood maker. You want to build a table, a desk, whatever. You're going to contemplate in your mind how to go about it. Where should I get the wood? What kind of volume, the measurements? You are already on a subtle plane, conceiving the object, isn't it? Then it comes down to growth. So in the same way, beej and the seed, then if you want the methods, the rules, the regulations by which one is, perfectly trained in devotional service, constitute the Bhakti Lata Beej. The seed, we are receiving the seed at time of Bhakti, but by watering, it's going to develop. Shravanadi Jal. Because a creeper obviously takes shelter of a big tree. I remember my father, when I was very young, he used to teach me, he was very good with nature. He used to teach me, you have to take out the weeds, take out the creepers from the tree. It stifles the tree. You know that, huh? And I'm teaching my boy the same, actually. When we go in the forest, he said, Papa, we have to take out the weeds, take out the creepers. She knows. It's parampara, I would say. But what I'm trying to say here is that a material creeper generally takes shelter of a big tree. But we cannot compare the Bhaktilata to a regular creeper because it's made of spiritual energy. So it cannot take shelter of a material planet. Because you don't find a spiritual tree on the material planet that the Bhaktilata creeper can utilize, No, because it's spiritual energy. So in other words, it means what? It means, just like Sutta Goswami is saying, Damasya Pavagasya Nato Paya Pakalpate. We should never use whatever gets by our way in terms of devotional service. We should never use those things for the pursuit of material sense gratification, material purpose. Then if you do that, then gradually your Bhaktilata Beej will fructify. Because Bhakti is meant, Yagyo Vishnu, Bhakti is meant for Krishna only. And it's beyond the material range. It's beyond the material range. So Bhaktilata has no shelter in this world. Has no shelter. The seed that you receive at the time of initiation do not have any shelter in this world. Even in Brahmalok. So the only course of action, just like there's a verse in the CC, Mahaprabhu is compared to a gardener. Mali, Mali? Mali in Bengali means gardener. We should protect very carefully. Mali anya kare se bij aropan, shravan kirtan jale karaye se chan. So we have to make sure our creeper becomes attached within spiritual energy, guru, sadhu. As soon as we want to repose our lata in something material, immediately it will wither, it will dry up. So as you grow, we keep on doing the same activities. Navanga Bhakti, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Smaranam, whether you are Sadaka, Bhav Bhakta, Prem Bhakti, Prem Bhakta. If you stop, Just like we discussed in 647, you read up the purport. If you stop, you fall down. And then you become wherever you stopped at, a Jnana Yogi, a Karma Yogi, an Ashtanga Yogi. And of course, we may ponder, why do we stop? This is the question. Why do we stop? Why people stop or slacken their practice? And it's look.
Desires.
Yeah, and I would say more so offense.
Offenses, yeah.
Yeah.
Mother.
There's a difference between pap and aparad. Be careful. It's aparad. So we have to be very careful with this. We've been Bhagyavan. Bhagyavan means very fortunate at the time of initiation. We've been given Bhakti-Lata Bij. Huh? It's precious. More so than the millions of Bill Gates. You know? Okay, 10. So 10, it's a revisit. Huh? Prior to that, remember, when did we come across Buddhi Yoga? Vignesh answered properly on this one. You please tell us, Vignesh and Goloka, when did we come across?
Like we discussed that in second chapter, like when Krishna mentioned 2.39.
Yeah.
He introduced the concept of Buddhi Yoga there. So now again, Krishna is using that and giving it a further insight in exact what is the meaning of that.
Exactly. Yeah. And not only 239, but at the very end of the second chapter, if I'm not mistaken, it appears at least, I would say 20 or 30 times, the term Buddhi Yoga. So it's quite appealing, this Buddhi Yoga here. So 10:10, very important verse. By the way, you know those 4 verses you have to learn by heart, isn't it? According to the book, the 4 you have to learn by heart, or what is it?
No, only the 2, the 8 and.
She doesn't want to learn them.
Yeah, but we can learn if you want it.
I mean, personally, I keep on saying it, but I never do it. After your batch, I will get down to the manual and revisit all the verses. I'm not happy. I don't know who did that manual, but I'm going to put my nose into it. Okay, yeah. So here it's very high. Tesham satata yuktanam bhajatam pritipurvakam. This is pretty. Pretty means prem. So 10:8 was bhav. Here it's prem, pretty. It means 24 hours a day here, service, love and faith. God, just like Purna Pragya with Ramanuj. Purna Pragya, Mahapurna, he was a Shudra by birth, but Ramanuj took shelter of him. Can you imagine? At least as a Shiksha Guru. He would converse with the deity. He would converse with Varadaraj in the south. He would talk to the deity. Can you imagine? Even the local Brahmins knew this is 10:10. He talks to the deity. This is 10:10. So what is the symptom? It's avyatakaladvam. Doesn't waste a single time. This is Bhava Bhakti symptom, by the way. It's even higher. 24 hours. God is talking to him. So all these people, all this nonsense, well, I know I don't need Guru, I can speak to God. This is nonsense. This appears at 10:10 minimum. So we have to be very careful. All these pretenders and rascals, I can directly connect with God. So you want to add up anything on 10? We have to understand. Yes, Prabhu, go ahead.
No, I was just mentioning, like Prabhupada mentions in his purport that like Buddhi, normally some people say that devotees are less intelligent and all. but then devotees are completely dependent on Krishna. So we don't need to like separately endeavor for all other strenuous activities that normally Vedantis, so-called Vedantis talk about. So Krishna himself guide them, through, gives them buddhi, intelligence, so that they can come back to him. So I think that is what I think this verse is referring to.
Yeah, exactly. We have to be very careful here. Oftentimes we misconstrue this verse and we are thinking it's an external origin. No. I don't know if you remember, of course we didn't discuss. Long back I was teaching the Dashamula Tattva in Vrindavan, and I went deeply into each and every Sampradaya, Vaishnava Sampradaya. So Ramanuj, he has a beautiful term. He calls Svata Siddha Gyan. You may know Vignesh if you're from this house. Svata Siddha Gyan. That is revealed by Priti only. Svata Siddha Gyan. Let me write it down for you. The chat is here. This is Ramanuj. Ramanuj on this one is extremely precise. And I'm going to explain after. So this is accessible on the level of 1010. It's revealed by the method of love, Priti Purvakam. What is it? This is the self-evident knowledge, which is the natural truth that is inherently in the soul. You follow? The soul by nature, the pure spirit soul, original form, is endowed with knowledge. Your soul itself, you yourself, you are Satchitanand Vigraha, right? So you are inherently the depository of Svata Siddha Gyan. This is your constitutional. You are manufactured like that. You are a Jeev. So you have Svata Siddha Gyan. This is the self-evident knowledge, which is natural truth. Otherwise, it's not available. So what's going to happen is, because you have Priti, that's Svata Siddha Gyan is going to be revealed. It's going to be how do you say, enamored. Otherwise, just like we do, just like I do, we read Shastra, no doubt, Bhagavatam, but unfortunately I have no Priti. So what is it called then? Indriya Paratantra Gyan. This is Shastric knowledge, yes, but it comes from sense perception. It comes from philosophical speculation. Indriya Paratantra Gyan. You follow? So let me write it down for you. Indriya means senses, as you know. Pala Tantra Gyan. Unless and until you have Priti Purvakam 1010, it's Indriya Paratantra Gyan. Then on the level of 1010, because Krishna gives buddhi, dadami, buddhi yugam tam, he gives. Then it's going to reawaken your Svata Siddha Gyan within your heart, within your soul. It belongs to you. People have it, but it's totally dormant. It's been covered. 5:15. Nadate kasachit papam nadchevam sukritam vibhuhu. I'm not responsible for your path. I'm not responsible for your sukriti. You have been steeped into heavy ignorance since time immemorial. So we've been covered over. So that is why the only way to reenact this intrinsic gyan within us, this the knowledge of the soul, which is there already in the soul, in our soul, is bhakti. And in 10-10, there is a shift. Just like you turn on the switch. You turn on the switch, light is going to illuminate the whole room. So because of your pretty purvakam here, then dadami buddhi yogam tam, then your svata siddha gyan becomes switched on. You follow?
In the buddhi, the intelligence that Krishna is talking about is about how to reach him, isn't it?
Yeah, of course. This is the
It's
intelligence.
Yeah.
The spiritual intelligence. Nothing to do with PhD, Goloka. No.
Yeah.
No. Chandra was telling me long back when he used to study in California, he had a teacher. She had a doctorate she made a doctorate on Jiv Goswami, on the Satsandarbhas. Can you imagine? She's not a fool. And he was telling me when she taught, he was steeped, he was wrapped in hearing. She had full command of the topic. But Indriya Paratantra Gyan. And between the break, she lights up the cigarette. You understand? This is called Indriya Paratantra Gyan.
That's it.
And she didn't get Buddhi Yoga. No, she didn't get 10-10. She may give a beautiful course, university level, yes, but Indriya Paratantra Gyan. Through sense perception, through intense study, shastric study, okay, philosophical speculation. Nothing to do with Buddhi Yoga. Buddhi Yoga means even if you're not qualified materially, you understand? It goes the other way around. Still you're going to get it. What is the epitome of that example?
The Brahmana who was reading Bhagavad-gita.
Exactly.
He was illiterate, he went upside down.
Excellent example. I was thinking of Gokishore Dasabaji Maharaj. He cannot even sign his name. Just imagine. He cannot even sign his name. He came one time. This is an amazing time. The 4 acharyas were there. Can you imagine? Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur was very young. His father, Bhakti Thakur, and he came, the 3, not 4, the 3 were together. And he came, it was a heavy storm. You've been to that house. It's on the side of the Jalangi in Mayapur. What is it called, Vignesh, that house? This is at the end of his life. Bhakti Thakur was residing there. He built that house. It's right across ISKCON, there's Jalangi, then the other side is ISKCON. It's it's got a Bengali name to it. And he came, and Bhaktisiddhanta, that was his disciple, his only disciple. He figured out, well, he cannot come. It's such a storm out there. And by then he was practically blind. He was old. And he came, and everyone was flabbergasted. How did he make it? He was so frail and so old, So his disciple asked him, Guru Maharaj, how did you make it? It's impossible. It's so much, it's pouring down there. He said, well, I don't know, someone took me by the hand, and brought me here. So who is that man? So this is, of course, Gokishore is even beyond that, is Vishnu Parikram. So this is a state of affair, 10-10. So on the contrary, if someone doesn't have it materially, still, Krishna is going to give it to him. It's totally beyond material paradigm. There is communion here. There is deep communion, pretty purvakam. You want to add up anything, anyone? Okay. So let's go into the final verse. Do we have any questions pertaining to that? Yeah. Is putting down karma and gyan in 10? Of course, I'm being the devil's advocate here. Why did he glorify so much karma yoga in the first 6 chapters? Did you reply to that one? Then Vignesh is quoting 647, very good. You're quoting 11th canto also. What did you say, Goloka, on this one?
647 also I said.
That's good. Wonderful.
Mhm.
Wonderful. See, after some time, you're going to become expert in, you can detect. You may not know the whole thing by heart, okay, granted, but you know in which drawer it is. This is Bhakti Shastri. At least you should to come to that level. I know which drawer. At least you should know the chapter. Where is it? I know it's in the second chapter. I know it's in the third chapter. This is Bhakti Shastri. At the end of the day, when you graduate, you should be able to do that in those 4 books. I know where it is. Ideally, you should quote, but that's not easy for everyone. Okay, so what else I wanted to say here? 10. So it's Krishna karma, basically. 10. By the way, I also asked, where did we come across previous sections where Srila Prabhupada tends to put down karma and gyan? Recently we did 9.3. I don't know if you remember 9.3. Prabhupada says, as long as we're infected by this karma yoga. So it's very interesting. Prabhupada sometimes takes different stands. Most of the first 6 chapters, you will see even again at the end of the Gita, it tends to equate the two, Bhakti Yoga and Karma Yoga. But sometimes it comes down heavy on Karma Yoga, depending where he's positioning himself from, Because basically Karma Yoga, we know 927, there's still a notion of doership. I'm doing it, Mother Panam Krishna, it's for you. Please take it with love. But it's mine, I'm giving it to you. There's still some illusion there. Clear on 10?
Yes.
Unless you want to, what is the adhikar to make it in Krishna consciousness, even if one is stupid? Well, we discussed already, yeah? We just discussed. Yeah. So, and I was asking, try to find in English a synonym of Buddha Yoga. So Vignesh is saying Shabda Anuvada, okay, devotion to the Supreme. What did you say, Goloka, on this one?
I say devotional service to Supreme, also action in Krishna consciousness.
Yeah. I'm quoting Vishwanath on this one. It defines Buddha Yoga in English very nicely. Of course, in those days it was not English, but it says Krishna's direct inspiration. If you are directly inspired by Krishna, this is Buddha Yoga. Oftentimes you hear the question, the devotee will ask, well, Prabhu, how can we know if it is the mind or Krishna? Did you hear that question?
Yeah.
So as long as you ask this question, means that's the mind, basically. Because if you are on the level of 10-10, then you know it's Krishna's direct. Because you have Priti, you have Svata Siddha Gyan. Your Chit Shakti, your tiny bit of Chit Shakti within yourself has been reawakened. Svata Siddha Gyan. By Buddhi. You have been receiving Buddhi by Krishna. Dadami Buddhi Yoga. This is direct inspiration. It's no more either or is it the mind? No. It's clear cut. Srila Prabhupada was on that level. He had direct inspiration. He could have gone to London first. He loved London. Because the Brits occupied India for 250 years. So the natural course of action would be to go to London, to show them, yes, look what I'm doing in London. I'm getting, I can prove myself by establishing Krishna consciousness in London. No. He got the direct inspiration of Krishna. No, should go to New York. Because what happened is the devotee intensely desired to know Krishna. This is a very strong, rooted Lolyam, Tatra Lolyam, Apimulyam, Ekalam, very deep Lolyam, to know Krishna. So then what happened? He gave himself to them. He gives himself to them. This is amazing. And be careful here. Don't think it's in a mode of goodness, this knowledge. No. Be careful. Sorry?
It's above goodness, isn't it?
Yeah. Anyway, we'll discuss further in 11. Let's move to 11, unless you want to add up anything on 10. Okay, let's hear 11 now. Aham agyana janatamaha. First of all, there's a notion of mercy, anukampam. Tatenukampam susamik shamano. 10:14:8. Anukampam means mercy. There is mercy here in the air. Aham agyana janatamaha. Atma bhavasto. Very important here. Atma bhavasto. Krishna is in the heart. Atma bhavasto is going to dispel. So did I have any question on this one? Let's see. Yes. How do you understand Atma bhavasto? What did you say? Atma bhavasto.
I say the pure devotee always has Krishna within his heart, who dispel ignorance.
Yeah, definitely.
And the Lord as Paramatma is always our constant companion and guardian.
Let me try to. This is Vignesh. Yeah, it's Vignesh here. Atma, Jiv, Bhav, attachment for the Krishna has definitely, it's a good point. He has attachment for the Jiv. He's very concerned for the Ananya Bhaktas. Very concerned. He's situated in the heart, 922, Yugakshama Vahamyaham. Yes, he provides what they need, definitely. It's a special mercy. He's all well-wisher. Yeah, you hit the nail properly, Vignesh. Totally surrendered. Atma Bhavasto. Yeah, so we should be understanding here. Baladev Vidyabhushan explained very nicely that the devotees at this level of 11, 10, 11 is basically the ongoing, the same line as 10 basically. This is the reaction of, you're on 10, then you're going to get 11. Devotees themselves need not endeavor. Finish. There's no more endeavor here. You have been given shelter. Did you see Prahlad Maharaj endeavoring for anything? And the Acharyas explained, Prahlad Maharaj, he doesn't even know how he eats. He doesn't know anything. Just like a baby of 6 months. Does he know how he's being fed? Does he know how he's being changed, changing his layers and all these things? Does he know how he's being clean? No. So this is the level of that devotee. Prahlad Maharaj is on that level. He need not endeavor, not at all. So to show them special mercy, this is the verse 11, I bestow upon them. I bestow. I want to bestow to no one else. You may be a yogi. Who cares? You don't get it. I bestow the lamplight of knowledge. They don't have to worry anything. They don't have to worry about anything anymore. This is my mercy, Arjuna is telling Arjuna. I personally endeavor. I endeavor, not you, my dear devotee. I endeavor for you now. It's called Atma Bhavasto. I'm situated within the workings of your intelligence. I take control of your intelligence. I'm within the workings of your inner intelligence. It's only revealed by Krishna. No one else can do that. Nothing to do with goodness. Nothing to do with goodness. And Baladev explained it's not even having to do with transcendental knowledge arising from bhakti. It's even beyond that. It's beyond that. It's totally Krishna of his own accord. It destroys whatever tinges of ignorance are there, it destroys with the torchlight of knowledge. I do it personally, destroy. They don't have to do anything. I carry 922. I carry what they like. This is my personal affair, Arjuna. It's on me. It's on the house. I supply all the necessities, material and spiritual. It's evam kampa, and it appears here in the 11. Tatenu kampam susami, in the same point, special mercy. This is the culmination of Chatur Sloki. And of course, the question arises, I put it up in the homework. These rascals are saying, well, they are unintelligent, they're dancing, chanting, just like in Varanasi, remember? I think we kind of covered that, didn't we?
One, what's the two aspects of Paramatma?
Okay. Sorry, we skipped that one, sorry. You have to, you tell me, Goloka, when I skip something. Okay, let's move back to 10. Okay, let's hear from everyone. How did you answer to that one? Back to 10.
Okay, yeah. It is how, even though one is not intelligent to understand him, very sincere and may accept a spiritual master attached to a spiritual organization. This is from the purport, and is not intelligent enough to make progress. Krishna gave from within.
Yes, exactly.
Instructions so that he may ultimately come to him.
Yeah. There's a verse in the Chaitanya Charita, Jiva Sakshat Nayi. How does it go? Jiva Sakshat Nayi Tata Guru Chacharup Shiksha Guru Oite Abe Mahanta Swarup. Mahanta Swarup is Guru. Checha Guru is Chit Guru, Paramatma. So it may be that the Jiva at this point is not able to receive directly from Checha Guru because he's still too much covered up. But again, once he receives the Danibu Yugantam, then the Guru externally, the Mahanta Guru is called, that is the Shiksha or Diksha, is going to help that conditioned soul because he has a strong desire. So basically the Guru is the external aspect of Chaitya Guru, of Paramatma. And then if you listen properly and you act upon it, then you're going to be established in your relationship with Paramatma. So that is why Guru is so important, because it is the external manifestation of Paramatma. Mahanta Swarup is called in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. The ambassador, you could say, ambassador of Krishna. But again, we should not be fooled to think he's Vishnu Tattva. Be careful here. He remains a Jiva. We are not Mayavad. Okay, back to 11.
Prabhu, I have one question.
Yeah.
Like, is it okay if you say spiritual master to be Shakti as avatar?
These are it has to be studied one by one. I remember in private, my guru told us, and of course, he passed away, so I can say, but in those days, he told me, don't say. He said, to him, it was an offense to say that Prabhupada was only a Shaktivesh avatar. And he used to tell us, I remember, it would hurt his ears when he would say that, oh, Prabhupada, yes, he's a Shaktivesh avatar. And of course, he was very learned. I remember he used to quote that, obviously Prabhupada is much more than that. He's Shaktivesh. Shaktivesh means, no, sorry, it's not Shaktivesh, it's Vishnu Parikar. He's Shaktivesh, a fortiori, If you are Vishnu Parikar, you are definitely Shaktivesh. So, no, Vignesh, not necessarily. Not necessarily. I give a course, which is a must now for first initiation. It's called Disciple Course. And in that booklet, it's only a 10, 12-hour course. It's very clear. What are we asking the ISKCON gurus today? What is their modus operandum? What is their function in ISKCON today? They make so many gurus, at least 200-300 perhaps, and it will grow more and more. What do we expect from them? Do we expect from them to be Shaktivesh? No. What is the requirement? What is the basic requirement? You should take that course. I mean, for those who want to become initiated, it's a good course. It's compulsory now. Mm-hmm. Well, because, yes, Goloka?
No, go ahead.
Because what we expect from them is just to be transparent to Srila Prabhupada. As simple as that. Don't add up, don't subtract. 20 years ago, I don't know if you remember, there was a big controversy. Yes, your guru, ideally, your guru should be Uttam. Prabhupada says so in Upadeshamrit. It's clear, very clear. But even if he may be, a good madhyam and he's trying his best, he's sticking to Anya Bilashita Shunyam Ganakamana Vitam, he's sticking to that verse. He's not a Vishnu Parikar. He's born in Brooklyn or in Chicago, or he's born in Paris. But he is very sincere. He doesn't obstruct the message of Prabhupada. It doesn't add up. It doesn't speculate. And on the contrary, he magnifies to his disciples. He adds up his own realizations to the message of Prabhupada. He's properly situated. He's a pure sadhaka practitioner, according to 1.1.11. Anyabhidashita Shunyam. He may not be a Prema Bhakti. Where is it written? He has to be. Ideally, yes. But even if, my guru always told us, long back, way back in 87, he told us, I will never be able to take you to Krishna. So, if I had been unclear in my head, he's not a madhyam, he's not a uttam, let me reject it. But then he added, I will be able to take you to Prabhupada. That's it. Prabhupada is, who is Prabhupada? Mm-hmm. Kirtananand, they had dreams of Prabhupada. They told him, but we dreamt of you, but it wasn't you, Prabhupada. We are confused. Way back in 66, it was you, but it was not you. It was not you physically, but it was you. And everyone was surrounding you. You were so effulgent. Prabhupada told him, if I had come in this form, people would have followed me for my beauty. So we can just imagine with Prabhupada. coming straight from the circle, the inner circle. To have what he has accomplished is unparalleled in this tree of mankind, basically. Who has done that? Did Jesus Christ done that? Mahomet, did he do that? It's unparalleled. How much he has been empowered. So, no, Vignesh, we cannot say that all the gurus are necessarily Shaktivesh. But even if they're not, it's fine. As long as, they stick to 1111. But again, if you come across an Uttamadikari, don't miss him. Okay, so let's finish it off. The question was here. Let's see what else we have here. In 11. Let me see. Atma Bhavastu, we covered that one?
Yeah.
Yeah, we covered.
See, you need to read, simply serve with love.
Yeah, just imagine the beauty, the poetry. I mean, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is such a kavi. This is what he says on Atma Bhavastu. Well, before I quote Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, this is Ramanuj. When Krishna says that he's giving knowledge from within the heart, this is a Svata Siddha Gyan. So 10 means this is the knowledge you get. This is reenacted in your heart. This is the intrinsic knowledge of your soul, which is this is not external. Nothing to do with external mode of goodness. No. Otherwise, up to that level, it's Indriya Parantantra Gyan. What else can we do? We didn't get pretty. So we are only hovering on the level of Indriya Paratantra Gyan. We are studying, yes, wonderful. Don't stop. But again, it's going through the senses, material senses, speculation a little bit here and there. Hopefully not. We should stick to Shastra. But when a pure devotee speaks on the level of 10-10, then it's a different story. Svata Siddha Gyan. He's speaking on the platform of the soul. He's not speaking from Indriya Paratantra Gyan. Prabhupada speaks on the platform of the soul. He has received Buddhi Yogam Tam. So now let's listen to Vishwanath on Atma Bhavastu. Beautiful poetry. So what Vishwanath is going to do here is going to paraphrase the thinking of Lord Krishna. Can you imagine? I mean, who dares to do that? Someone comes to you and say, look, I'm going to tell you what Krishna thinks. What will you say?
That's cool.
That's extremely arrogant.
You would say speak as it is.
Can you imagine? I mean, who has the audacity to say that? He's paraphrasing the mind of Krishna. So this is the level of Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. He threw his books in the Radhakund. Can you imagine? Inked written books. Finished. Thrown in the Radhakund. It's finished. With some stones in it. The books came back. It was untouched. So this is what he says. He's paraphrasing Lord Krishna. I become Atma Bhavasta, like a bee inside the whirl of a lotus. I become situated in their bhav. Can you imagine? The Krishna go inside the bhav of the devotee. In my transcendental personal form, I reveal my qualities. And with the shining lamp of knowledge of these qualities, I destroy the darkness of Anadi karma. Be careful here. I destroyed the darkness of the knowledge, of the ignorance of anadi karma, means beginningless karma. No one can do that. This is 1866. Savadamam paritaja mamikam chananam. I destroy the darkness of the ignorance of anadi karma. Who can do that? It means everything is erased. And then he goes, prior to that, it obstructed true knowledge. Unless and until your anadi karma is removed, your true knowledge, again, the Svata Siddha is going to be obstructed. And it's going to manifest how? It's going to manifest you anchor for something else other than Krishna. You follow? So here Vishwanath is saying, Atma Bhavastu means I enter, Krishna says, I enter into the bhav. I enter into the workings of the buddhi of the devotee. I reveal myself. I destroy the anadi karma. It's much more than 437. Remember 437?
Yeah.
437, it's a beautiful analogy. As a blazing fire, turns firewood to ashes. Arjuna, so the fire of knowledge, burn to ashes, all reactions, remember? Be careful, it's not the same. Vishwanath, I looked it up. Vishwanath on 437, he says differently. What does he say? We're talking about transcendental jnana. It's a different topic. On 437, Vishwanath is saying that Krishna says, basically, in 437, for one whose heart has been purified, I destroy completely whatever karma has been generated, except for prarabdha karma. Prarabdha karma means your manifested karma. Your body is the manifestation of prarabdha karma. It doesn't destroy that. So then, obviously, transcendental knowledge destroys all reactions, pious, impious, except prarabdha karma. Basically, the present material body. So regular jnana destroys only a prarabdha. Brahma Vidya destroys everything, even punya karma. But Bhakti Yoga 1011 destroys anadi karma. You follow the difference?
So anadi karma is
It's everything. It's like a Mataji. It's like you delete the computer.
okay.
It's
The
zero.
memory.
Zero left. All your data, you better back up your data. Everything is gone with the wind. This is anadi karma. There's nothing left. What does Sutta Goswami says in the second chapter, first canto? When that happened, what is the reaction? Do you know? This is very important verse. Those 5 verses it's a cluster of Srimvatam Svakata Krishna. He starts with that verse. Then he goes, the final verse of the 5 there, Vidyate Hridaya Granti. That's it, 1 to 21. Vidyate Hridaya Granti, Shidyante Savasam Shayaha, Shidyante Sashakamani, Drijvaiva Manishvari. This is what it is. This is exactly what happened. Your anadi karma is finished. So what happened is you see yourself, you the soul, you see yourself, and the chain of karma breaks open loose. This is 1 to 21. You are no more attached to this world. You have been broken loose. The heart, the knot in the heart is pierced. All the misgivings are gone. And the chain of karmic reaction is open loose. Drijva evatmanishvari. You see yourself as the pure soul. This is anadi karma. So this is what's happening in 1011 here. See, it's much more high. It's much higher than 437. Much higher. Okay. Do you have any questions? I think we kind of finished. And of course, the conclusion was it was a bit of a funny question. Do we have to read, or do we have to love and to serve with love, basically? You can have answered properly also on this one. Well, I would say if you have the knack of it, like you do, obviously you like to study, do it. But someone who doesn't have it, he should not, he should not fall into abject condition. I'm finished. I don't know Gita well. No. Bhakti Yoga, Prajojitaha, Jnanachashu Vairagyam, all these verses explain that Jnana and Vairagya are subservient to Bhakti. And Dadani Bhujigam Tam and Yanama Upayantite, 10 Krishna gives from within. So we should not worry so much. Okay, I'll stop here.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, if you have to add up anything.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah, it took us 2 hours to do the Catur sloki. These are heavy verses. Okay, so have a nice. It's late at your place, perhaps. Oh, for you, Koloka, it's early, but for
Yeah.
It's 9:30. It's
Yeah.
9:30 in England.
for the
12 to 5 EC
yeah,
here.
you have the whole day ahead of you. I'm gonna go back to temple. It's 6:05 p.m. here, so I'm gonna go
Yeah,
back.
I'm going to go afternoon.
Yeah, go back with my boy and my wife. I guess she didn't go today, so I'll take her. Okay, so take care. So we have chapter 10, 11, 12. Don't forget your SS.
Exactly is dusk.
Sorry.
What time is exactly is dusk?
Well, look it up in on the internet for you.
Yeah, I know here it is between 8.
Dusk means twilight. When the
Yeah.
the sun, it's between day and night. This is dusk.
The longest in my period.
Yeah, in France they screw up with the timing. This government is so rascal. They change the time of the sun. We are running like 2 hours ahead. They say it's 6:05, 6:06.
Yeah,
But
they say 8:18 between 8 p.m.
according to the sun, it's 4 here in France. Can you imagine? But they say no, it's 6. For the sake of gaining supposedly energy and cut down on energy consumption and stuff, it's all baloney. At least Modi doesn't implement that in India. He's more intelligent.
What time in India will be?
It's 9:30 p.m. right now.
Yeah, of course.
So you already broke your fast, already dusk.
Yeah, normally it was said till dusk, right? So I worked on at that time.
Yeah, I'm gonna go for Nirjal today. What to do. And I'm feeling okay, so why should I not do it? I'll break tomorrow morning.
Are you doing Nirjal?
Yeah, this morning I came across that quote. I said, wow, man, why should I know that quote? So,
Yeah,
especially it's difficult to give Nirjal after giving a lecture for 2 hours.
But see, Vignesh, my Guru Maharaj kindly told me that instruction in 87.
Yeah.
I was fortunate enough. My Guru was very much into Nirjal and stuff.
Yeah.
He told me way back. He told me, Madhavendra, you just do Nirjal. Don't bother even. So I've been doing it since 87. So for me, my body is like,
used to it.
It's just your constitution. I think my constitution is, I'm like a drummer, like a camel, basically. I don't suffer so much from the heat, or I can withstand water for long, and I'm used to it. It's Krishna's grace, I guess. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Take care.
Thank you.
So we'll meet in 2 weeks, huh? And try to, jot down ideas for your essays and stuff.
Yes, Guru.
And your verses, you feel free to call me and recite them if you want. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.